Thank you for coming. It's actually been quite a while since we've done an artist talk here, so we're very excited to have Thomas Connolly with us tonight to talk about his terrific exhibition, which features dramatic yet familiar scenes of Portland, beautiful plein air landscapes, and soulful interiors and still lifes. We're live streaming the event on Facebook, so if you're watching it on Facebook and you have any questions for Thomas, just go ahead and type those into the comment section, and we'll read them here in the gallery. There's a minute delay about between us here in the gallery and you watching on Facebook, so I encourage you to go ahead and type the questions when you have them. Otherwise, we may not see them if you wait until the end. Also, as soon as the talk is over, the live stream on Facebook stays on Facebook as a saved video, so if you ever want to watch the video again, it's there. And also we'll get a cleaned up version from Reggie, which we post on YouTube. So all of our videos, all of our artist talks are on YouTube. So I encourage you to go there if you miss any. And also you can click subscribe and then it'll let you know when we have new videos. So now a bit about Thomas Connolly before we turn things over to him. Thomas is a realist painter whose work expresses a strong sense of mood through the subtle use of color, adding richness to his subject matter. He's particularly well known for his architectural paintings, especially of Portland and New York City. Thomas has participated in the Maine College of Art, Baie St. Marie residency program in Nova Scotia. He's been juried into biennial exhibitions at the Portland Museum of Art and the Center for Maine Contemporary Art. And he's also received a Pollock-Krasner Foundation grant and the Sheldon Bergh Award. And with that, I turn it over to Thomas. Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you, John. Thank you all for coming out today. Maybe I'll try to drag it out so you can enjoy the air conditioning for a little more. The paintings are pretty much interiors, Portland, and the still lifes. And that's a landscape. I've always enjoyed Portland. If I lived somewhere else, I would paint the town I live in. But these scenes in Portland I see, and I appreciate all the architecture that's here. This painting and the one that says "Call" were painted during the same snowstorm. And there's something about the winter that cold outside, nice and warm inside that I just try to get a feeling for. Same with this Mellon Street piece. I love those yellow lights in the winter. And I also wanted to say, they're very realistic paintings, but I don't really care what I'm painting as much as just playing around with some colors, changing the amount and the position of them. I'll go through the paintings. This was, there's a few landscapes over there that are done plein air. This one was done in the studio. My wife and I were out in the Cascade Mountains a couple years ago, and I wanted to try to get that feeling. This one is my in-laws' house, and that's a copy of a Rembrandt painting. And I named it Frederica because she did the flower arrangement. My father-in-law died, and we had a little ceremony there. This is a snowstorm. This was on my way to the studio. I kind of see this. This is Mercy Hospital right here that they just taken apart. I've always enjoyed this Mellon Street, this church. But I didn't put the crucifix on the top. I left it out. And we'll get to the still lifes last. Well, the still lifes, I'll go to those now. Those were the big paintings were done. Then I had some time to get ready for the show still. And the still lifes I found easy to paint. I didn't have to, they were not too committal in terms of the statement. They're just pure painting, and that's what I enjoyed about them. But they are kind of a little bit narrative. This one's called Tyler, which is my son-in-law. Mother's Day, he gave those flowers to Pam, my wife, for Mother's Day. There's a couple still lifes over here. Oh, this is my mother-in-law's vase is on this one. That's a nice painting. So she made the vase and I did the painting. You can see here they don't show up quite as well as those over there, but these landscapes are painted plein air, and they're done quickly. With it's a little bit easier in a way because I can't really think about it too much, and the other pieces, I can work and work and work trying to find the right color, and I don't have time with the landscapes to do that. And this time I brought a cheat sheet with me because I did this a year ago and it was just me and the camera and I didn't know what to say. I'm always amazed at how the color on the palette looks so different from when you put it onto the painting. It changes a lot. So what's happening in the painting is the reality of the piece. Everything happens there, not on the palette. And hopefully I see one bit of light coming out of the paintings, altogether one piece. And sometimes if there are highlights, but if any one piece is too strong, I tend to knock it down to try to make it all come as one piece.
Could you demonstrate that on one of these paintings?
Yeah. Well, let's go over here. This painting is mostly gray, but there's a little bit of brightness right here. So they complement each other, and if these were a little bigger or a little smaller, they wouldn't, they'd overpower it or they'd disappear. So there's a balance between, even though they're small bits of color, there's a balance between the small bits and the big bits. And these paintings, I have an idea ahead of time what I want to do, but they never end up the way I expect. They always take a turn. So, and I used to fight that, but I can't fight that too much. It's like people. And it's a little bit like building. Do carpentry and home repairs also, in addition to painting. And these paintings are like a little bit mechanical to get started. It's a tactile, physical thing, just like, but there's a lot more creativity. It's a lot more difficult. That's why I like it, because it's so hard. And there's a lot of trial and error. Most of these are what's left over after trying a lot of things and finding out what doesn't work and what doesn't work over and over. And then if I hit on something that works, I'll hopefully leave it. Talking versus looking. Oh. Well, I tell my dad to look at the painting. I don't want to talk about it. Just look at it and enjoy it. As one piece in a painting is painted, another part shifts. Yeah, I spent a long time with these, changing these. I changed that quite a bit, that yellow color in this. And when I changed that, this all changed. This all had a different effect.
Or were you changing the color or the tone? Or?
Yeah, I was changing the color and the amount and making it whiter, brighter, but not white.
Yep.
And this same piece is out in the window facing the street. And when I did that, I have a slide projector, and I projected the slide onto the board, and I drew it in with a pencil and a ruler. So everything was given to me ahead of time, like a coloring book, filling it in, all right in the way. And then this one looks the same, but I didn't. I just freehanded it and just guessed where the pieces go. And this is more the way I would paint nowadays compared to 10 years ago. I used to treat it more like a puzzle to solve, but there's nothing to solve.
So so that wasn't a study for the big one, or?
It was,
Yeah.
but I didn't, with all these marks, I just put them in. On that painting up there, I took a picture in the daytime and got all the details of the building, and then I knew exactly where those pieces would go in the painting. And then I made it be nighttime. But this was a nighttime picture I'd taken, so that was the beginning of it.
So that was from a photograph.
Right.
So how do you typically scale up when you're doing that? You start with a smaller one, and then what's sort of the process to scale up to the big painting?
Usually I just do them big right off the bat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The plywood I buy is 60 inches wide, so I can get two 30-inch pieces out of that. So that's about as wide as I can go. So that's part of this reason I scale it the way I do. The one by you, John, was is up near Mercy Hospital also. That was one of the more recent ones I painted. And in the foreground, there was a lot of traffic lights, and it was fun. I took it all out and just got the building. And I haven't seen anyone living in that building until recently.
So you said you did two of these during the same winter storm, so you went out and took pictures during the storm?
Yeah.
You didn't paint outside?
No, I paint these landscapes outside. I go to the same spot for years. I've been going there. It's the landscape doesn't change too much, but the sky's different every day.
I'm curious where the location is for the
It's the Spurwink Marsh. There's a pump station that the water district owns, and there's a little parking lot there. And I can go there, and no one talks to me. I have painted other places around Portland, and someone always comes up and wants to tell me about their cousin who's a painter. And it's good. Some painters like that, but I don't.
Do the plein air paintings have connection? How do they affect what you're doing with your other paintings? Is there some relationship? The experience?
Yeah, well, a little bit. Like this is landscapey, the flowers. That's why I did the still lifes. I thought I could get the same gestural brush marks in it that I do with the plein air pieces. But instead I went the other way. I drew out every little leaf and tried to describe each leaf. They're very different, but they're more, they're sloppier, and they're more dealing with the colors more quickly. But I do like the craftsmanship that go in the other pieces. I appreciate that. These curtains took about a couple of days to do, all those lines. This one I liked. I like these two colors together. Do you have any questions, John?
Yeah, so just, you look at the landscape paintings, there are a lot more sunny days than the urban paintings, of course. Is that just a function of because you're literally going outside, and so it's going to be better weather, or is it time of year, it's winter, so you're going to be in the studio, so you're doing winter paintings in the studio, or what's
Yeah, I think it's the season and the time of year.
Yeah.
In the winter, I'm inside, and I want to be inside.
But you said on the big one for the FO Baileys, you took the daytime sunny
Yep.
picture of it,
Yep.
but then still made it dramatic and nice and moody and
I did.
yeah.
Well, I just like those. I like. It's an idea that the highlights will stick up more. If it's gray, the highlights will be stronger. And these landscapes are nice. But I'm looking right into the sun, so I'm always have an eye out for the clouds. If it's a cloudy day, I'll tell everybody I got to go paint because the sun is right in my face. Like that one there, that top one, which is kind of, it's a little hard to paint that way. But I like the spot I'm going to. Yeah.
Are they all the same, mostly the same time of day, or?
Pretty much, yeah. End of the day,
Yeah.
5 o'clock, that's just, 2 hours before sunset.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to do one of these plein air paintings?
They take about an hour, and I do a lot of them, and I throw 2/3 of them out.
Sure.
My son takes them. He's going to panel his walls with them. Or make a floor.
So how do you paint a lot of the sort of iconic or well-known, buildings and woodland scenes, especially, if you add them up over the years as sort of documenting the city. Do you think of it that way? I mean, then you've also done the historic paintings, based on historic photos of buildings. So do you think of it as documenting sort of Portland, or is it just these are things that attract you at the moment, or how do you sort of pick the subject matters for these architectural paintings?
Well, I'm a builder. I do like architecture. And I used to do a lot of Manhattan paintings. I would get off at 125th Street and walk down to Grand Central, take pictures along the way. But I'm loyal. I feel loyal to Portland.
Yeah.
Manhattan I liked, but my mother worked there, and it was. But that's not part of our life now, and I don't have the same interest in it. But there's a lot of pride in Portland. People care about it. And there's still more pictures there. I don't know where, but I'll find them.
So
Somewhere.
do you just walk around the city with a camera, or do you I want to do the time and temperature building or the state theater, and then you go and take pictures? I mean, is it more sort of just organic, wandering around, looking
Yeah.
for inspiration to strike, or is it you already sort of know?
Well, if it's snowing out, I'll take pictures because the snow softens the light and it illuminates the whole space with the street lights. And on a rainy night, it's very dark. Nothing shows up. But in the snow, it's almost like daylight. So if it's snowing out, I'll definitely go out.
How large are your photos when you have them turned into prints? Do you used to have a computer screen, or do you?
I used to make prints that were 8 by 10, but now I have a computer that I look at. So I zoom in and zoom out, and I pretty much make it up. I sort of know what things are. Unless it's like the building across the street, there's a lot of detail in that that's hard to keep straight. Yeah.
So how about the boat paintings? You've got
Oh, this one here?
Dock, you've got one sailing, and then you have the other that's dock.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
sitting there.
Yeah. I like those boats. I like I like those working boats. I don't like that they kill fish, but I like the boats out of the water. It's a nice shape. This is that's such a part of Portland, the bridge up and down. It's part of everyone's day when it's up or down.
For sure.
So is that Irving boat that comes and goes. And this one around the corner, I was visiting somebody. That's in Mystic. It was a training boat for the Denmark, for their Navy fellas. Kind of like the Bowden up at Calais. No, where is it? Castine. Yeah.
Do you prefer plywood over canvas? You've always worked on plywood as opposed to canvas?
Yep.
Because?
I can get it's easier to get a nice pencil line, a sharp edge. It's not. Sometimes it's too smooth, and the paint rubs off when I paint it, but it's easier to get a clean edge. And it's more durable too, it won't get a hole poked in it.
So is that after starting all these with the drawing and then building the paint over the drawing? Or?
Yeah, yeah. And I got a commission once, and they wanted, this is when I was painting on canvas, they wanted plywood like these. They wanted canvas on top of plywood, so it wouldn't get dented or a hole in it. So then I thought, I'll just use the plywood. But with the big paintings, they're too heavy. A lot of these are on 1/8" plywood, which is pretty thin, pretty light. But now that's not so available.
I love the interiors. Who are these homes of family, friends, or?
This is my wife's cousin over here, and I asked her to come over, and those two paintings are from her house. I asked her if I could come over and take a picture because I always loved that wall, the color of the wall. I did rearrange the paintings a little bit in her house, but that's all right. This one is our house. That people, that's one of my favorite pieces, and I thought, who would want that? Who'd want to see someone else's guest bed? But
Warm and inviting.
yeah, it looks cozy. Yep. Is that it for interiors? I think so.
Do you have a particular type of yellow, or is there a certain tone that you're drawn to in terms of any particular color that you really love?
No, I love them all. Yep.
But the yellow seems key, right? The gray haze and then the warm yellow.
Yeah. Well, it's a how I try to make that yeah, I was just trying to find that combination that you see outside in the world, and I do like that. I do like yellow, but my palette's pretty small. I don't have a lot. I only have 2 or 3 blues, and paint's about that many. Yeah.
So do all the, so I take it that all these like interior paintings, they all have like the locations are all have personal meaning or connection. It's not just, oh, I like the way this room looks, can I paint it? Or is that a fair assumption?
Yeah.
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 And how does your, so you talked a bit about woodworking, and if any of you are interested, we'll flip around one of these paintings and you can see they're usually the most well-constructed, sturdy, heavy, woodwork on the back of the panel house.
Oh, not this one. But sometimes there's but that's the plywood. This is one piece of wood, and then this is a different type of wood on the border. And on the bigger ones, there's like a window frame grid in here to keep the. Yep, this is walnut.
So do you find that sort of your woodworking interest, does that carry over or inform sort of the way you paint, or have any sort of connections that you see?
No, not too much. I know. The woodworking's craftsmanship, and the painting is a lot more mystery involved. Trying to solve things, or trying to find answers, or.
So how does the mystery manifest itself to you?
I really don't know what I thought I would know what I'm doing better by now. I'm 61, and I still get into a painting. I just don't know where to turn. And but if I show up and do something, it's really out of my hands how it turns out. I can judge it tomorrow or the next day.
It reminds me of Stephen King, who says, I create characters, I create a situation, and I wonder what's going to happen next.
Oh, that's true.
So do you find yourself going back and reworking paintings like weeks later, or?
Sometimes, but usually I put them aside. I lose interest eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a hard time saying it's finished?
Yeah, like this one and that one of the snow, I worked on those for a while. But sometimes I can tell when they're, you know, for 3 or 4 days I'll work on the painting, getting everything covered, getting the white out of, and then it's about a half a day of discovery and pulling it together and tightening it up.
So you paint the wood white?
Well, maybe off-white, but I need to see the pencil mark or something. So it's got to show up a little bit. Yeah. So it's there's quite a contrast with the white and the paint. Until the white's gone, then I could see what I'm dealing with.
So how much detail are you doing with the drawing itself?
Not that much. I used to do more. I used to draw everything out, but now I don't, because I can figure it out as I go. Yeah.
So basically, it's like shapes and sort of blocking out where things will be, or
Right.
yeah.
Like that one there, I drew out the shapes. I laid out the windows and the chimney and the arrow on the road, but all the other stuff I kind of filled in. Yeah.
It seems that other than still life, you don't have people in your pictures, other than if they're on the wall. Is that the case?
That's pretty true, except for here. We got a guy right there.
Somebody in that one too, right? 2 people in that.
Yep, yep,
You had the hot dog vendor, that one custom house painting we had.
yep.
Yeah.
I don't do too many people. I don't mind. I like people, but they're, you know, I got nothing against them. Here's a nice couple people here too.
But it seems that the faces are always in frames, you know, and then other than being empty.
Well, I do have a dog over here. It's not a people, but
Well, you named most of the still life after people.
I did.
You can kind of talk about that and how you picked who you named them after and why you picked people's names for a vase of flowers.
Yeah, they're kind of portraits of those people. But for me, a person takes a lot of, you know, it feels that emotionally it takes a lot of attention in the painting. So you can see the colors more, I think, without the person.
So how's this style?
Well, I got my hip replaced and I lay on the sofa for a month, and he gave those flowers to somebody. He loves flowers, and either to me or Pam. So I was staring at those for a month.
Fair.
I told him he could buy the painting, then he wouldn't have to buy any more flowers.
And I think is that over there is Pam.
That one's Pam. Yep, that was. She sets up little arrangements, and I grab them once in a while if I can, if I like them.
Setting them up specifically for you?
No, just because she likes it. Yep.
And so was it, because a lot of the sort of the interior scenes you often have like that one over there, and so here, you know, you have the flowers in the vase on a table or whatever. So what was your inspiration this time to just do the still lifes by themselves while, you know, the rest of the interior is in a lot of your other paintings?
Well, they're very quiet. They're very meditative and very still. As a subject by itself, there's a whole history of still life painting, and I enjoy them.
Do you like to listen to any particular kind of music while you're painting? Any style or preference you like?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I got music. I love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
What kind of stuff do you like?
Opera, Howard Stern, Grateful Dead. So that covers it all.
Yeah. Some of that stuff seems like it gets you more fired up than meditative, you know?
Right.
So do you pick music based on what you're painting, or is it just?
No, it's what I'm in the mood for,
Yeah,
pretty
it
much.
doesn't impact your painting practice, what you're looking to do?
Not too much.
So you said there's a long history of still life. Are you thinking on that as you do still lifes?
A little bit. You know, I'm dealing, well, not just the still lifes. I'm dealing with issues that painters have dealt with for 1,000 years.
Such as?
How to depict something and what to put into it or what not. How to make it convincing looking.
Yeah.
And with the still lifes, well, did Corot do still lifes?
Pardon me?
Did Corot do still lifes?
Corot?
Camille Corot?
Doesn't know.
He did a lot of portraits.
Right.
Chardin did still lifes. Well, they're valid on the as an abstract painting, so that's why I do them. And they're a little more organic than a building. They have more curvy shapes. Yeah.
So who do you, so you just mentioned a couple artists, who do you see as sort of either, either artists that you just particularly like or artists that you find influencing your work?
Wayne Thibault with the cakes, he died recently, and Chuck Close. There's quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get here in the gallery, we get people commenting that it's like, looks influenced by Hopper. Do you like that comparison or not?
I don't mind it. Yeah, he's a good painter. I wish you could see these. Or Richard Estes is a good painter, contemporary.
Yeah. So once you talked a little bit about knowing when you're finished and really, you ever come back like a year later and want to change it, or once you're done, you're done?
No, I'm done.
Yeah.
And some pieces I look back at, and my daughter took a painting, and it's not my favorite piece, and now I'm doing another painting of the same thing, and I want to trade it with her. So
What did you do with the one you took back?
I'll throw it away. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy seeing it.
Yeah.
The pieces are getting better. They're richer, like fruit that's getting riper. They're not. Sometimes they get too gray or too white or too black. There's more variety in the colors now and a little more confidence in the paint work.
How does your New York paintings compare to the Portland paintings in terms of your talent or ability or style you're talking about in terms of color and so forth? Do you feel like your New York paintings are totally different?
They're not as painterly. They're very, it almost looks like color by numbers a little bit. But they're beautiful paintings. But there's not a lot of variety in the paint. But that's what I was doing then. But they took a lot of work. I remember one painting had like 600 or 800 windows. Little squares. It took me days to paint all the windows. And I would do it. Like, no, you have to do it.
More people?
Yeah, a few people. It's hard to avoid there.
So if I went and check the dumpster behind the State Theater building, am I going to find a bunch of discarded Thomas Connollys that you didn't like? Is that, oh yeah, Pete said I shouldn't have said that while we're recording, but
No, I don't paint over them too much. The texture of the paint gets in the way.
yeah, so I mean, I guess that's what I'm asking, is it sort of, once you get started, you're just hell-bent, you're going to resolve it to your liking, and that's going to be a finished painting, or you just, some of you say, nope, this isn't going to work.
No, I give it a good try.
Yeah.
I try to hang in there with it, and some work out right. Some are clean at the end and are done. Others take more work.
Yeah. So you must have worked in pretty
Sometimes I do. Yeah, when they're done. Near the end of the painting, I do. Yeah. But I like thicker paint. Sometimes these are too smooth. You know, a canvas grabs the paint and it's thicker. Well, I want you to know I've been thinking about this for about a year. What to say, how to say it. But your questions have been a big help. Are you out of questions, John?
Yeah, hang on a second. Just make sure we have covered already.
Do you have any favorites, and like in this room, what would be your favorite work or type of work?
I like that still life there with the, and oh, I like the small one across the room on diagonally. Yeah. I like them all. And John tells me who buys the paintings, so it's nice to know where they are. Even if I don't see them, at least I know where they are.
You got to keep track of your children. So I'll just go ahead and ask the, I don't think I really need to be told the answer, but go ahead and ask me for everyone's benefit. So how come there are no sunny, middle of the day scenes in Portland?
Well, it's a little bit flat in the middle of the day. It's kind of like especially this time of year, it's a little bit just a little bit filmy looking. In the morning, in the evening, it's a lot richer looking. That's what I like. And it's a lot of painting during the day. There's going to be a lot of cars and a lot of people, and that's a challenge. It's a little bit busy for me.
And I take it from your earlier comment about doing the large painting, the overlays, but you'll go out and take photographs during the day to get details, and then just translate that into an evening painting or put some fog in there or some rain or something, something more dramatic.
Yep.
And how often do you, because you talked about it on, taking out some of the stoplights and things, how much of that sort of manipulation are you normally doing? Do you often simplify the scene, or?
No, not too much. I'm pretty true to what's there. I take out a few things, but like the wires or maybe a couple telephone poles. And when I was studying painting, I think it was hard to make a commitment to like a girlfriend, and it was hard in the painting to make a commitment to that this is going to be the painting. So I would take things out, and I'd end up having just a big painting with one cup on it or something. They were very minimal, like they were just too minimal. But that was me at the time. I didn't want to make a statement saying I'm going to do this. So I don't mind putting things in.
Seems like by removing the lampposts and wires, you kind of romanticize the city more. It looks better without it.
Yeah, cleaner. Yep. I do romanticize. Yeah, I romanticize it.
And is it, like in this, in the show in particular, a lot of these city scenes are winter. Is that just, is that a function of your preference or a function of the shows in the summer, and so that's when you were painting for the show?
Well, it was with the time of year. I love the snow, the gray snow, and that color of the snow that it kind of gets purpley at night in the snow. I was trying to find that.
Yeah.
What's your next series going to be? Do you have a series, or do you have ideas in mind for future work?
No, I wish I did, but I'll come up with stuff.
Any more of the historical paintings you're planning?
No, those are fun. I'm gonna. I have a friend who collects postcards, so I think I'll look over some of his and see what he has. Those are. The postcards are usually black and white, so you have to make up the color.
Those are pretty popular.
They are.
I think I've asked all my questions. I don't know if anyone else has any. Jump in.
I have a question. And I was up for 2 seconds, so maybe somebody answers, but you find different scenes around Portland. I've been watching your work for years and years, but it's almost like you're walking around the city looking for, okay, this looks cool, this looks. Is that how you do it? Or are there certain areas that you sort of decided you're not going to paint? Sort of some areas like the Longfellow House, I've never seen a painting of that. Just curious, is there anything you sort of exclude, or how do you find all these things?
Yeah, there's some good landmarks I've overlooked, like Longfellow Square also. Well,
I don't mean to burden you.
You did just say he was looking.
sometimes it's hard to get started. The Longfellow House, it'd be a very flat painting because you're looking straight onto it. So I like to have a little bit of space that the piece is in.
Do you ever worry about being cliche, like if a lot of people paint a certain thing, where you don't want to do the same kind of thing? Avoid what a lot of other painters do.
Well, sometimes, or sometimes I did a lighthouse painting, 6 months ago, and just to see what it would look like, because there's so many lighthouse paintings. But to try to do one that looks a little different. But I'll keep looking through Portland, and it's changing a lot though. And I don't care for the modern art, the more modern. It's not as interesting to me.
All right, well, we're coming up on the hour. If there are no other questions, is there anything else that you have on your list, Thomas?
No, I just want to thank you all for coming. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.